Hey, what's up, friends? It's Eric Crumbaker coming at you from... What are we coming at? Oh, this is Real Estate and Shit. Yeah, Real Estate and Shit podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, first and foremost, be sure to subscribe below. Leave some comments because we will comment back. And if you talk shit, we'll talk shit right back. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Got some wonderful guests here as always. First and foremost, we have Chris Fox. What's up, Chris? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing well. Good. I feel like you haven't changed since I've seen you last. You got the stash. Did you have a beard last? I don't remember.
I haven't changed in a long time.
You haven't changed. Well, you're looking good right now. You're looking fit.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like it. You're not?
No.
Well, you do it well. You write it well.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
You know what the trick is?
What's the trick?
You have 3 sizes of every article of clothing in your closet.
How big is your closet?
Not big enough.
That's really smart. That's actually pretty funny right now. We'll get back to that a little later because I have something to say on that one. Next, we have our newest licensed real estate agent at Element. Woo! Sadie. How do you feel today? Do you feel lighter? Do you feel more accomplished in life? Do you feel older?
Do you feel like an adult?
I don't think I'll ever feel like an adult.
You know what you need to do?
What? I don't even know if I want to answer what.
Oh, get your first tree.
Oh, my first Christmas tree.
That's actually good.
I bought a Christmas tree for Miller, but because he has a literally like 100 square foot apartment and no space, it's like a box. I bought him a 4-foot tall one.
A Snoopy tree.
Oh, a Snoopy tree.
And he has this psycho cat, and the cat already like taken it and flipped it, and like sometimes he wakes up and the tree's across the
That's
kitchen.
what cats do.
I hate.
Do you like cats?
No.
No cats.
I named the cat. Her name's Diabla.
You named the cat that you don't like?
Yeah. Well, that's the like.
Because you know what Diablo is. Isn't Diablo the devil?
I think so.
Only Sadie would name a cat Diablo. Yeah. And to disguise it with Diablo, knowing it was Diablo.
Yeah. Miller's from the South, so I don't think
he hasn't caught on.
No, I told him. She's a devil cat. So
yeah, in English, but you haven't said Diablo means devil-esque.
That's true. I guess I don't think I've explained it.
That's good.
I don't need to explain it.
Don't need to, you know.
My dog's an angel. That cat is a heathen. That's all that matters.
We always love Peanut. Mm-hmm. Wait, so what were we discussing prior to hitting play on this? We were discussing the Liver King.
Yeah.
So it came out today that he's a roider.
No shock.
Well, I mean,
it was like $12,000 a month, or
what do you mean?
A week is what he's spending in
HGH or whatever that's called. In roids.
Yeah.
Roids.
I mean, look at him.
What blows my mind is this. I follow him. I think he came on the scene like last year or something like that. He's got 1.7 million followers. I just follow him for one thing. The entertainment side of it.
Yeah.
I like that he eats liver raw.
And it doesn't matter what he did prior to hitting record.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, I personally know that if I ate raw liver, I'm not going to look like him. I know if I don't eat brains and all the other crap that he does, that I'm never going to look like him. Like, it's not just the food you intake. The guy's obviously roidy. Yeah. We all knew that. So I was reading some comments today on like his last post, and it's hilarious. The society that we live in, like people with blue checks on Instagram too. Like, hey man, I just felt so defrauded from you, and like I trusted you, and how do you not know he's on roids?
Also, like, why? Like, he's not a proven scientist. He's not a health coach. There's nothing to say. There's no reason to listen to this guy.
I love the entertainment side of it. Yeah. He's walking through New York like dragging weight.
Looks like caveman.
For what?
Yeah.
I love that shit. Yeah. And then he's got like Liver Queen, his wife, and like his liver boys.
Really?
So it's like,
oh, really?
Yeah, he's got 2 sons, and they all like eat dinner together, and they all eat raw liver together and stuff.
Someone needs to call Child Protective Services on that one.
In all reality, it was a ploy for money. You know, he lives in a huge mansion, and he gets paid a lot of money.
And if you think about it, like, there's plenty of people. It's all for clout. Like, there's plenty of TikTok people, like girls and guys, who have fake teeth, fake everything, and they're like, "Oh, I'm a model." Like, well, yeah, of course you're a model. You paid $30,000 to look hot. Like,
I agree.
So
let me ask you guys a question: who are you most disappointed in? The fact that he's on steroids and lied, or the fact that people thought he wasn't roiding?
Yeah. I mean, I think that he did a service by, shedding light on, potentially healthier diet for some.
Primals.
Yeah, I mean.
I think if anything, like, even in our podcast, is that people will see things and take them at face value, like headlines, things like that.
The real estate
like, I'm
crashing.
But like, I'm not disappointed in people because I expect that out of them. So.
I agree. All right. Well, that wasn't all the shit of the real estate podcast, but let's kind of get into some headlines that we've seen. We haven't met in a couple weeks, am I right? It's been a couple weeks.
It's been a minute.
It has been a little bit of a minute since us three especially have been on.
I know. I think we had a whole retreat and everything.
We did have a whole retreat. Things have been spicy lately. Yeah. We're already it's December 1st today. Crazy, man. This shit's just flying by.
Yep.
Okay, so I mean, there's been some changes since we've all last met when it comes to real estate and the way the market's been. I was actually reading an article, actually here, I have it right here. Of course, when you want something that doesn't actually pull up, and you actually, it's like, I want this. Actually,
classic.
I found it. It's right here. 2023 housing forecast. This is from CNBC. So I'm going to get your guys' opinion on this. And it's only 4 bullet points, okay? This is our forecast for 2023. And then after I tell you this, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, okay? So their forecast is the home prices for 2023 are going to decline by 4%, okay? Existing home sales, actually, it's on pause, but I took a picture of it, and there's a big pause thing over that I can't see.
I don't think that's a whole equation, though. I think you need to factor in the forecast for rates.
No, we're not. We're going to go into the forecast for rates. Existing home sales will be down 11%. New home sales will be down 10%. And housing starts will be down 11%. But the kicker in all this, in my opinion, is home prices are only going to see a 4% decline next year.
Yeah.
Do you guys know how much homes gained in value over the last 3 years? Like,
I'm gonna guess more than 4%. So
Sadie,
a lot
like
more than 4%.
50%?
50% in some markets, 100%, some markets 70%. Either way, drastic changes. So if there's
that's $34,000 on an $850,000 home.
What is 4%?
4%.
Crazy. So my question to you is, this is public news. This is on CNBC. I'm reading this from CNBC. What are people doing? What are people reading? Like, if you knew this information, like, what do you guys see for 2023? Like, do you think this is a good time to be purchasing property, or is this a good time to be selling property? Like, where are you at in all this, Chris?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're coming from the perspective market value is going to come down 4% next year.
Woo!
It should be market's only going to come down potentially 4% next year.
Right? On the 80% that it gained over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm currently a homeowner, and I know it's going to, my what I purchased for 2 years ago is only going to decline 4%, like, you feel like you still hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
You won the lottery. My question for you is, knowing that home prices are going to decrease by 4%, knowing that existing home sales are going to be down, 11%, knowing that interest rates will probably maybe hit 5%, what do you do if you're a seller?
So.
Yeah, but I was listening to this today on CNBC, and agreed. But the analyst is saying, where's the incentive for sellers to sell right now? Because they own historically great rates and they still have great value in their home. If they're not people that have to sell.
Yeah, I mean, that's just where you got to dive into, like, what's their motivation,
Yeah.
What's your goals, It's not right for everybody.
I love it.
There's some that it makes sense for it, some that it won't, and those that it won't will stay, and those that will, will.
What a great response that was, Chris. Yeah. I mean, I understand why you're now who you are. Well said. Sadie.
I mean, I was going to say people aren't always motivated by the money when it comes to selling, not 100%, like Chris was saying.
True.
Some people want to get out of California, or
True.
need to downsize and they need to upsize, or whatever it is. Like, I know Stacy, I'm pretty sure she has some clients that moved like a few years ago, and she got them their house. Now she's selling their house because they're busting at the seams. So
Correct.
It's not really about, to them, as much the money. Of course, they gained that equity.
Yeah.
But like Chris was saying, the motivation isn't always technically money.
True. And a lot of financial situations may change negatively for families with them having that much equity.
Of course.
I mean, they can downsize in a more affordable scenario with their equity.
They've got a little bit of cushion to work with, which I think a lot of people will be using and putting on. But you know, this is what I'm seeing when I read this. I read through the lines of Eric, and when I read through the lines of Eric on this article, all I see is we've hit a bottom. That's what I see. I think the bottom's in. I don't think we're going to go down much further than what we see on these numbers. I think, in my opinion,
that was the crash.
That was the crash. And if you
that back there was
if you look at any chart,
sure,
it was a drastic crash.
My gut tells me the same, Eric.
Yeah,
I truly feel like that was it. That's what people were waiting for,
and it hit hard.
She gone.
I do believe though, we're not going to just come back tenfold next month. Like next month's going to be
the rates won't allow it.
Agreed. We're in this for a long, drawn-out period, but this is it. This is what we're in. What we're living in is what we're living in.
But that is a showcase of a stable market.
Agreed. It's a very stable market. You know, it's crazy. We've been saying this for 6 months. Stabilization.
How long will it take you to figure that out and get on board? Like, the longer it takes you to figure that out and get on board, I think you're putting yourself at a disadvantage.
And a lot of people took advantage of that. A lot of people saw the writing on the walls, knowing based on the data with vacant or home vacancies versus what am I even? I'm trying to think of a certain formula right now, and I can't even remember the formula. Shit, I hate when I blank.
Well, I think that that was the opportunity. This is the opportunity. And I think that opportunity is starting to dissipate. I think confidence is building.
Yes.
I think the narrative is appropriate to install that it is safe and we are going to be stable.
Correct.
And I think it's going to be dictated by the rate from this point out.
Mortgage applications jumped last week, 2%.
And look what rates did.
Crazy.
Rates came down. I had my lender price out deals in the 5% range. I haven't seen an interest rate in the 5% range in a while.
In a long time.
So as soon as you have a consistent, pre-qualified 5%, it's going to flood the buyer pool again.
Let me ask you a question, and we can all three raise our hands at the same time if we need to. How many of us know people who are on the fence waiting to buy?
Yeah.
So if we all know people on the fence waiting to buy, and they're all waiting for these rates to fall a little bit, how many other people are like them that are trying to do the exact same thing? And we all know what scenario that's going to create. The same scenario that we were just in. Maybe not as
Lines
crazy.
Out the door at the open
maybe
house.
not as crazy as that, but still multiples. You never want multiples.
I live in a bubble and I don't expose myself to a whole lot of data.
Okay.
I just make my decisions based on my daily interaction.
Hyperlocal data.
And I tell you that in the last 48 hours, I've had more phone calls of buyers I've had a relationship with, past clients, but my phone is starting to ring off the hook.
You know why I think that's amazing? It's because, one, it's December 1st today. Most times on December 1st, your phone's not blowing up with people. I mean, they're blowing up their friends about getting into the holidays and what their plans are next week.
Yeah.
You can feel the shift, Chris.
I can feel the energy. I sense the momentum building.
People don't want to lose.
I feel another exciting business way for us as realtors.
I agree.
But, I think buyers are going to get that last little bit of negotiating in their favor.
I agree, and I'm going to be very, very honest right now. I understand what buyers are kind of going through. I bought a house. We just closed. Scariest 30 days for me. I thought I made the mistake. I thought I bought the wrong time. As many times as I make these podcasts and I go through all these, I still have those own thoughts as well. We almost canceled. Things didn't, we were just, everything that could have did.
Sure.
And it was scary. But now that we closed and some better data is coming out with only a week later, I'm thinking I stole a home. I stole it. Yeah. But when you're in the moment, I understand. So I get the sellers, but that's like anything in this world. Any opportunity, the people who take opportunities, if everyone knew his opportunity, everybody would take it. Yeah. So...
And I think that's why it's so important for them to make an emotional decision. They have to fall in love. It's got to check every box. There's zero compromise because they're scared or uncertain, So I know I sound like a broken record, but that's why sellers need to be realistic. Sellers need to make that investment in making their home that more attractive so the buyers fall in love.
I completely agree, Chris. On this topic that we're on, or let me ask you a couple questions, Chris. Okay. What's the hardest thing that you're dealing with right now?
Sellers and their opinion of the price of their home.
Okay. And that's after, even with giving them all the data, all the numbers, they just
data doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't mean anything, does it?
They don't even see it.
Damn.
I like how you use the word their opinion of what their home is worth, because it's different than what the
what their home is actually worth.
Yes.
And there's nothing you can show them. And
Are they way off, Chris, or is it just a little off?
They're off by a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's most sellers, not just yours. I feel like that's most.
The problem is a lot of agents will tell them what they want to hear to get the listing signed, and I won't. And I'm like having these, conversations, and I'm just like, I don't know what else to say. Like, do you want me to lie to you? Okay, your house is worth 1.1.
That is why I feel our market is so dangerous, because there are so many agents that don't do a lot of business, that get very desperate, and to get a listing, they will do anything it takes and say anything it takes to get a signed contract.
Because you can always get a reduction on that
always,
contract.
And they feel the contract.
And
the home is
their
theirs.
That's how they.
And they'll deal with all the problems later.
Yeah.
And it's such a disservice to sellers, because sellers don't always know. They want the best and the highest number that they're trying to get. So if they're talking to a true professional who's going to tell them the facts, and then some Joe Schmo walks up and is like, no, I'll get it for you, and he's dressed all, to the nines. It's like, well, this guy's telling me this, Chris. Let me just give him a shot.
Yeah. I've offered to mentor, to give coaching for free guidance for them to hire this other agent that they've interviewed.
Yeah.
I've encouraged them to sign a very short contract, knowing that I'm going to have to fix it. And I'm like, listen, like,
have you ever signed that?
What's that?
Has anyone ever signed that document?
No. I don't have a contract. I'm saying for them to sign a short if you don't hire me, that's fine. I'm okay with you not hiring me.
Okay.
I spend way too much money on my listings to not have success.
I agree.
So I won't take a listing if I don't know
if you don't believe it's going to sell.
So it expires.
But with that being said, I care about these people.
Of course you do.
I know what's happening.
Well, that's why you're in this business.
And I'm like, I think I'm one of the best in the industry, and I will give you free guidance throughout this transaction or through the course of negotiating with other agents to protect you.
This is why you're successful. This is why who you are.
And I'm getting ghosted by that. Like, I'm like, they don't want to hear what I have to say. And I'm like, I'm here to I'm not hire the other. I'm okay with you hiring the other person.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You don't even want to be a part of that.
Let me help you along the way so you don't get screwed.
Right. Yeah. Because most likely if they're going to hire that other agent, there's a chance you're going to get screwed too. You know what I mean? Like, you should. Man, our industry, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you. All right, so let me ask you a question, Sadie. Would you rather list in spring or winter?
I mean, as a seller, would I rather? Okay, I know based off of working for like a year and a half here that the wintertime is not the ideal time to be a seller.
Okay.
But with that in mind, does that mean that there's far less on the market and there's less competition? If I listed in the spring when everyone else is listing, when it's better to list, is that going to be a problem? Because obviously people are still buying in the winter. So I don't know. I mean,
and the buyers that are buying are more serious.
Yes.
Damn, she's smart.
So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, it's so funny, Sadie.
No, there's no answer there.
No. Your answer. Your answer was my answer. Your answer was my answer, because most people will say they'd rather list in spring because it's better weather. We live in California, so this whole spring thing means nothing to us. We have good weather all the time, so that aspect never played out for me. Usually after Super Bowl, it ticks up. My opinion has always been list it in the winter if you want the price that you want. Because, again, you have less competition. If you have more competition, that means there's more people, you're competing with more people, and you're ultimately, in my opinion, competing on price. I hate having to list a home based off another active property in the same neighborhood. So I'd rather be the only one in the market with my only listing to be, hey, if you guys want to play, this is me right now.
There's nothing to compare it to.
Nothing to compare it to. And then the beautiful thing is, it's the holidays. If your home's not beautiful during the holidays, I don't know what you're doing anyways. So
light that fireplace. Light a fireplace in the summer. That's
Yuletide.
Make some cookies.
Yeah. Oh, I can smell it now. Little Baileys, little coffee. I need a Santa hat.
All right, sold. I'm selling my house right now.
Just the way you drank that made me feel like I was drinking like some warm beverage in my hand.
Hot chocolate
Me
now.
too, until I tasted it was water.
That's terrible.
Talk about disappointment.
All right, let me ask you a question, Chris. It's so funny that I'm not going to ask you this one because we just went over this one. What's the biggest mistake buyers can make right now?
I mean, I think not confidently writing offers and aggressively going after. I've had buyers cancel.
Yeah, I mean, I think
get
right now it's
cold
40%. Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty confident they regret that decision.
Of course.
I look at the scenario that we were in escrow, and them getting cold feet, and what it looks like now. I would be extremely disappointed.
Are you still working with any of these people?
Well, they're in the shadows.
Okay.
They're shopping, waiting for.
So your advice is
think,
go for it. Don't listen to that second voice in your, like I was just telling you I had. Don't listen to that voice.
Yeah, I mean, I for me, real estate. It's about emotion. It's about a quality of life to me. It's not mathematics.
Yeah.
There's
no formula. There's no mathematics to it.
Yeah. So I mean,
I
there's
agree with
no
you.
better feeling than being settled and comfortable in the space that you desire.
It affects your being.
Yeah.
The way you wake up in the morning, the way you go to bed,
When
leaving, coming home.
when you're over analyzing comps like you do real estate for a living,
correct.
It's just like relax.
Correct.
Like fall in love.
Okay.
And check out your payment if you can afford it and it's the right time for you.
Okay.
And you love it, buy it.
I like that. Okay. Hey, Sadie, what advice, by the way, we realize you just got your license, so we're not judging you on this.
All my answers are more like questions.
But
of the question.
Sadie, if you were a seller, what advice would you be giving sellers right now?
If I was a seller, what would I tell a seller?
Actually, sorry. That doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? What advice would you be giving sellers as a real estate agent?
Well, it kind of goes back to what Chris says.
Okay.
If you're motivated to sell, then sell. Don't wait for the right time because there's never going to be the right time. It's when it's the right time for you. It's kind of the same thing as being a buyer.
Yeah.
Like you can't, obviously, you can't predict the market. So if it's the right time, it's the right time. Don't look at all the comps. Don't be freaking out about this and that. I get that things have changed drastically. Like this is a crazy year for me to have been starting.
What
this
a great time to join.
No, awesome, crazy. But yeah, that's the advice I would give. If it's your time and you need to move or you have all these factors and this is the right thing for you and probably your family, then don't be scared by these other things. Hire a good real estate agent and they'll do the job for you.
It's true.
And for me, I put more value on time than on a dollar.
Oh.
So
what do you mean by that?
I just feel like, time spent settled and making memories for me with my family, like that's most important than
anything.
Than a 4%, improvement or, whatever the narrative is on what the market's going to do.
It's true.
Whatever time, you're losing by not being settled and creating those memories to me is a loss more than gaining a $34,000 potential
quality of life.
Improvement on what your purchase price would be.
Correct.
Unless you're like a real estate investor, then I guess my advice wouldn't go.
Well, I'm glad you said that because everybody treats their primary residence as if they are investors. This is their,
Yeah, I can see that. I don't, but I get it. I'm connected to our person.
Buyers try to put themselves in that analytical.
Well, they makes them feel smart.
Yeah.
They want to feel like they have control over or the knowledge to sell and know all the numbers. And all of a sudden they're like, I'm going to use the numbers to make the decision.
Yeah.
But really there's an emotional attachment there. I just like coming home.
Yeah. Oh, there's no place like home.
It's true. I mean, that saying didn't come out of nowhere.
No, it's pretty special.
It is.
The Wizard of Oz?
Probably Peter Pan.
I think it's Dorothy.
It's Dorothy.
Is it Dorothy?
She clicks the hills. There's no place like home.
That's
what
it is.
True. That's
Sorry,
exactly
diverted.
Right.
And I would say one more thing for sellers. If the agent is telling you something that seems too good to be true, it probably is. And
like what? Like what?
Like the price of their home. If, like Chris is saying, if you have one person like, oh yeah, I can get you 1.3, and you have a bunch telling you in the 900 to $1 million range, then maybe you should think something is a little fishy here and not go straight for the money.
Yeah, that one's always hard. This is what I think. every seller there should be a universal seller packet. So if you're a seller, there should be a standard 4 questions you ask every single person that comes through your door. 1, what are your past sales? 2, give me your last 3 sales, clients, names, phone numbers, and email addresses.
I think that I love this, Eric, and I've wanted to do this for so long. Like, you can call my entire,
like references.
Well, when we hire somebody, you're required to give references.
Well, what you're telling me is sellers aren't qualified to determine who's best to sell their house.
That's correct.
But they think they are.
Correct.
Yes.
That's why I think there should be some type of universal packet or something that sellers can use, because no one ever asks.
Sellers, I'm talking to you.
We're talking to you guys, and we can email you this questionnaire, because it's a very easy questionnaire because we all qualify. So it's easy for us. But you know who wouldn't give you that questionnaire? 90% of real estate agents.
And it's like, check out their online presence.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you can go to my Instagram, you can go to my Facebook, you can go to Zillow, you can go to so many places and kind of get a good feel of who I am as a human being.
I agree.
Do you like me or not? Like, like there's a lot of easy avenues to.
I think so too.
And these agents get hired, they don't even have a Facebook, they don't have an Instagram.
Nothing.
And I think without those two, those
God.
are 2 of the largest tools we have.
It's crazy.
I research real estate agents every day just to look at numbers, this, that, and the other. And the first thing I do is I put them in Instagram and Facebook so I can see a face to these numbers.
Absolutely.
No one has any profiles. And you know what's so funny? And I could be wrong. I could be stereotyping, and I could have a lawsuit against me. But every time I
put an asterisk at the
every
end of this
time I
episode.
click on someone's name that doesn't have a profile, the first impression I get, I was like, oh, they're over 50. Oh, they're over 50. Yeah. They're over 50. I could be wrong though, but OMG. If you don't have a type of presence, in my opinion, like you're stating, like, how do you expect this person to sell your home on the same platforms that they're not even on?
I mean, organically, just from my social media, I get so much attention on my listings. Like,
isn't it crazy?
If I removed Instagram and Facebook from my career,
thousands of people. What you're doing, you're exposing your inventory to everyone that you should be exposing your inventory to through these platforms, which a lot of people don't even do. It's insanity to me. We're not even getting into the just common sense shit, but
well, on the flip side, ever since I passed my exam, I don't know how they get this list, but I've been
I know,
letters
I know you're getting
call.
Everybody wants to come work for them.
Oh my God! And so I like to look them up.
Yeah, of course.
I'm curious, and I'm like, and I've heard a lot of names around here.
Yeah.
And if I don't know their name, which I don't know any of them, I'm like, okay, let's see what they look like. None of them, not one, has had an Instagram account that I could find.
Of course not.
And I'm like, well, that's sad. Like, what are you doing? And that's half. I mean, I can't speak for you, but I'm like, that's most of your all sphere. Like,
Sadie, can I piggyback on that really quickly?
yes, piggyback.
Okay. Just so we know, statistically, I want to say it's like 80 to 90% of applicants right now are under 30 years old for real estate. Okay.
Applicants, like people wanting to be
No,
agents.
I have a question.
Okay.
Correct. Hold.
Okay.
I want this. So most people right now are your age, Sadie, getting the real estate license. Okay. What idiots at what brokerages still think sending envelopes with letters in them are going to convince someone like Sadie to come join your brokerage? Like, come on, people. You guys, stop sending letters to people. Like, that shit is in the 80s. We don't do that anymore.
So are a lot of their headshots.
My question is, how many of these like youngsters are having this podcast right now talking shit about us not having like TikTok and some of these newer platforms that maybe I'm not as familiar with?
All that stuff. You know what?
But I'm not as savvy with it, so I'm just full circle. I'm like,
you guys write some shit about Chris right now.
I'm gonna maybe I'm self-conscious because I'm getting closer to 50 than I am 30.
Well, yeah, you're closer to 50 than 30. I hope so. Well, how old are you?
I just turned 45.
Dang, you're getting young.
Oh, we had birthdays since then too.
Yeah.
45.
You know, it's crazy.
That's
When you
not
were
bad.
30, how long ago did 45 look when you were 30?
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, the compounded maturity through there. Is
Now that I'm
like-
hitting 40, I'm looking back and I used to think 40 was old. I used to look at 40-year-olds at 20 and was like, damn, those guys look old. And now that I'm 40, I'm like, I feel like I'm 20 years old. These people can kick rocks. So it makes sense.
Yeah, I realized like, oh man, 27 is closer to 30. I know that's younger than what you guys are talking about, but I'm like, oh fuck, like I'm almost 30. I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad about their age because being older is cool and wise and whatever, but something about 26 felt younger because it was close to 25, and sometimes I would say like, oh yeah, I'm 25, like whatever, but now I'm like, oh shit, I'm 27. I can't even pretend like I'm 25.
It's true.
It sucks.
You can pretend like you're 25. I see a lot of girls pretending they're 25.
Yeah, I could, I guess. People always thought I was older than I am.
Okay.
So I don't think it's worth even trying to pretend anymore.
Yeah.
I'm extremely excited about this next decade.
Decade or year? What do you mean decade?
Decade, like the 45 to 55.
Ooh, I hear
that.
And
what that looks like for me.
I hear 40s.
Like, I'm excited.
20 sucked. I hated 20. I think as a man, 20 suck. I think as a female, 20s are amazing.
Hell yeah.
See, it's my wife says the same thing, and so does my sister.
So everything.
As a man,
I don't even remember my 20s.
Exactly. Well, because when you're 20s and you're a man, you have to like get into the real world. You got to figure real shit out, and you got to get stupid jobs, and you got to think about what your life's going to be.
Yeah.
And then you have like my wife and my sister. It's like, oh, 20s, go to the bar. Blah, 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 blah. 30s were amazing for me. I haven't get to my 40s, but 30s was probably the best decade I've ever experienced in my entire life, where I just thought every year was better and better and better. Yeah. But I've been hearing that's how this progression goes. 30s are amazing. 40s are even better than your 30s, and 50s are like that decade of like everything comes together. And then you hit your 60s and 70s and 80s and you don't remember shit. But I hear that is like the primo. I don't know. I can't wait though.
Why do you think it's like that? Do you think it's because you have more life experience, more money, more
Both.
assets, more
everything
people?
That you're saying, all of it. More money, more life experience. You've been through a lot. You don't stress on all the shit that you did before. You don't care what people think about you. You're just enjoying the ride at that point.
You know why I think it's fun to be a girl in the 20s? In their 20s?
Why?
Well, besides like going to the bar and having fun, and like you said about Stacey and Carrie, but it's like, and why I think some people think their 30s are like, oh, shit. But some don't, because in your 20s, you're carefree because you don't have that much. In your 30s,
True.
I feel like that's why I think when I hit 30, I'm like, crap, if I don't have a house, I'm a failure. Like I have these predetermined things in my mind where like when I'm 30, I have to have X, Y, and Z. And maybe that's why in your 20s, you're like in fuck it mode as a girl, because you're like, well, I can have fun, and then I'll get serious when I'm 30 because, and then when you're 40, you already have all the things. You're not stressing out about being in your 30s, and I don't know. Just a thought.
I had
I'm
the
not
same
there
thing.
yet, so.
I thought I would be married and have 2 kids by 23.
Oh, really?
When I was 16.
I promised one of my mentors, 2 of them actually, they're like, do not get married until you're at least 30. Like, don't waste your time.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I think that's great advice.
Yeah, I started late, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, right. Every scenario and situation is different, because I have friends who got married, childhood sweethearts, and they're still married, And then I got friends who got married 2 weeks ago and they're already divorced. Yep. So,
situational.
I really do feel it's situational, but for me particularly, waiting and doing it older was my wise decision. I think as an adult, I've matured late. I've always done things late, but I do things better than most. So it's like a weird process that I go through. Yeah. So maturing was a little late for me, but I'm glad. I don't know what I would have done if I got married in my early 20s and I had kids in my kids would hate me right now if I had kids in my 20s.
My kids would be homeless.
I didn't want to say that, Chris. I didn't want to go that far, but probably my kids would be homeless, like fucked up somewhere. Yeah. I mean, let's just be honest right now.
Hey, you know what? Having like some, what is it, like reflection on yourself, that's maturity at its finest. So if you knew that in your 20s, at least you got that going for you. Yeah. But your kids would probably be homeless. So
Oh my God, just imagine having kids in your 20s. Like when I see people, I give them so much more respect, because I couldn't do it. I could barely even do kids now.
I could barely do my dog. I mean, I love him, but when
yeah, dogs are hard.
I have friends who have kids who are like my 10-year reunion's coming up this year. I don't know if I'm going to go, but
I've never done a reunion.
I'm not going to say anything because we're in Claremont and I went to Claremont High School.
Oh, you and Sean, huh?
I don't think I'm going.
All right. Well, hey, everyone, make sure you tune in and text Sadie. Ask her why she's not going to your reunion at Claremont High School.
I'll let them know. But anyways, a lot of them have kids, and I can't imagine.
Yeah, I get it.
But again, it's situational. Like I was a little party girl when I was 21. Some people were like, I'm going to get married and have kids, and that's cool too.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I'm completely with you. Okay. Now we're talking about homeless kids and drugged up kids. Let me ask you guys both a question before we wrap up out of here. What is your prediction for 2023 for the housing market? And you don't have to get all scientific.
I think it's just going to be extremely
a good year.
Stable. I think we're going to level out, plateau.
Okay.
I think it's going to be, as confident builds. I think it's going to be a good year for us.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a great time to buy and sell. I think it's going to be everyone's going to have the opportunity they need to accomplish their goals, I think.
Correct. Yeah, I agree. Before I ask Sadie, I'm going to kind of jump in there. I am with Chris on this one. Housing inventory is so low. And I think we're at a 4-month supply right now. Until we get into a 6-8 month supply, which, if I'm correct, hasn't happened since 2012, we are not going to see anything drastically change. And just so you guys know, we're still theoretically in a buyer's market. I think you have to have 8 months of a decline of
seller's market.
We're still in a seller's market. We actually haven't even transitioned to a buyer's market yet.
Yeah.
So my prediction for 2023 is...
I think it's a fair fight right now.
It's a very fair fight, which why I have this prediction is it doesn't matter. My prediction for 2023 is it doesn't matter. It's a great time to either buy or sell a home, depending for your reasons.
Yeah.
You're not losing on either side of the scenario.
Yep.
But I will say, if you are a buyer and you want to buy for the long term, which you should be holding for 10 years minimum if you're buying a home right now, there isn't any better time than 2012, in my opinion, to buy a home, only because the amount of people out trying to buy as well. There's just, the pool is so small that it's a great time because we all know what's going to happen in 6 months from now. And I'm already predicting 6 months away. We're going to see multiple offers coming again.
Yep.
You see a 5% interest rate, and you're going to see
I think we're 30 days out from that.
And we might just see that for the next.
I think they just need to digest that they can look back and they can see a strain of
correct.
Of the same,
we're not going to 4 people. We're not going to 3s. Yeah. We're living in the 5s and 6s. And if you can catch in the 5s,
look, honey, they did it. It's not scary.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And that's why we're trying to create this social media. And that's why we're doing all these videos, because I want people to know it's not scary to buy right now.
Yeah.
And if we can do it and everything's okay, everybody else can do it too.
Sure.
They just need to see it. And it's something weird in our society. It's monkey see, monkey do. A lot of people don't want to be the first one to do it, which is why we always say the first ones in or always get the opportunity. They always make out. Yeah. Most people don't. It's something in our society, in our species. So it's nice to show people that it's safe to play.
I think we can't conclude this podcast without talking about how exciting loan limits increasing are for the...
Talk about it right now. Let's bring this up. Give it to me. Give me the news.
San Bernardino, Riverside County, loan limits increased to $726,200.
From what to what? It was...
What were they, $647
I don't know.
or $675 or something? Yeah,
that's a big...
They increased substantially.
And then LA County up to $1 million, right?
Yeah, $1,089,000 or something like that.
$1,089,000.
Yeah, for conforming. So this is
I want to buy another one.
This is really exciting stuff for buyers. Have that additional buying power, and I think most importantly, every buyer needs to get pre-qual. They need to They need to establish a profile, a profile with a lender. Get the facts in front of them. Quit driving around looking at homes with without the facts that you need to do it efficiently and keep it fun.
I completely agree.
These are my parameters, I'm qualified to hear. This is my payment. This is what I need down. I don't care if you wait a year to buy, but at least you know where you stand in the market. These people drive around and they're excited to buy and they don't know where they stand, and then they get a disappointment and
they're wasting their time.
And
every buyer should be pre-qualified.
Yeah.
I mean, call your lender.
Don't feel pressure to buy just by getting a pre-qual. Pre-qual is an educational process that's necessary.
It gives you an idea of what you're qualified for.
Yeah.
Nothing is more confusing to me to hosting an open house or meeting somebody, showing them the property, and come to find out they haven't even talked to a lender yet. What are you doing looking at property you have no idea you can afford?
It puts you in the driver's seat. It puts you in control. Because when the one pops up and then you're going to start the process, it's too late. That house is gone.
Correct.
If you're sitting there pre-qualified, you can pull the trigger at your...
And not even that, Chris. You know what's even worse? They see the home, they love it, they get qualified, and they're like, they'll never be able to purchase that home. Like they're way too out of their price point, and they're like, "Oh wait, we're only here." And
then there was a couple things on credit that needed to be corrected, or adjustments needed to be made.
Exactly.
Or they file on their taxes, and they needed some guidance from the CPA, you know, to coordinate that with their lender. And they're like, those things can be done ahead of time.
I agree.
You can set goals for a year out, 6 months out, and you can take care of what the lender wants to see, instead of starting it when you fall in love with a home.
Start the conversation. I know all the stuff we talked about. All you have to do is at least call your lender or call a lender and just have a conversation. Based off a simple conversation, they usually can give you an idea of what you're qualified for prior to you sending them all the paperwork that they can actually underwrite you on.
Yeah, and reach out to your realtor. Get some guidance on who that lender is.
I agree. Do you know Chris Fox's number? Because he's easily searchable. What's your number, Chris?
909-921-4742.
And there you go.
Go to soldbyfox.com.
Soldbyfox.com. Do not forget that.
We did the number like flashing in yellow underneath. Damn. Call now.
Call now.
Evaluation.
Yeah. But wait, if you call in the next 30 seconds, we can offer them, Chris.
Tell them what they won, Johnny.
That's good. All right. Well, I really do appreciate both of you coming on today. Sadie, thank you coming on. Congratulations again.
Thanks.
The newest real estate agent to Claremont area.
She's going to be a beast.
She's going to be a beast. Chris, also, thank you very much. Your insight, your professionalism is always at the highest level. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And last words. What last words do you have before we cut it today? Anything that you guys can think of? Last thoughts?
The silence is deafening right now.
Well, I want to thank everybody that participated in our pie giveaway. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I hope you all,
throwback.
I mean, the hundreds of people that came and got pies from us, I think
agree.
that's really exciting.
I agree.
It was good to see past clients I hadn't seen in so long, and I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving, and I look forward to seeing you. We're going to do a Christmas event. And,
yes, we are.
Yeah, come get some photos.
I agree.
I thought of my final thing.
What do you think?
It has nothing to do with the holidays, though.
What is it?
I do appreciate you shouting out.
That was a great shout out.
It was awesome.
And by the way, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, reach out to us. We can get you connected to our pie giveaway, and then we also do a pumpkin giveaway as well. We do a lot for our community,
Parties,
so
all the things.
make sure you guys reach out. And then what do you got, Sadie?
My last thing is, if you ever have any... Okay, so I've been posting some of these clips and some reels and things like that, and people reach out to me or comment, and I'm not trying to sound like salesy, but a lot of people my age are kind of nervous to talk to a professional about, what they can afford or just have general questions.
Yeah.
I don't always have all the right answers, but I have people around me that have all the right answers.
Yeah.
So if you ever feel intimidated or you want to talk about real estate in any way, shape, or form, you can DM me because I will ask Chris or our broker or Eric or anyone because
she's got you.
It's scary, but it doesn't have to be.
I like that.
I like it.
My last thoughts. Don't forget your new... Don't forget to update your phone this week. That's it. I got a new update. That's it. That's my final thought. I don't really have any major final thoughts.
I updated mine.
Did you?
The guy at the Apple store was like, Sadie.
Actually,
you're 3 updates late. I was like,
I never really update my phone. I'm gonna say this. My final thought, because we started with the Primal Liver King.
Not mad at you.
I'm not mad at him. What? First of all, let me just say, it's not illegal to do steroids.
And it's America. Like
it's America.
He's going after his dream.
I agree. The guy, you know what it is most people are jealous that this guy has 1.7 million followers. He made something for himself, and now they're trying to persecute him because they found out he's on steroids.
Yeah.
These people didn't know he was on steroids to begin with. You're an idiot.
Yeah,
you're an idiot.
Unfollow, move on with your life.
Yes. So Liver King, man, Primals, rock on. We don't care. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining. Leave some comments. Watch our other podcasts. Happy holidays. Happy Thanksgiving. Merry Christmas. And we'll see you guys all next week. Cheers.